26-year-old child care provider Laura Burton is suing her ex-husband, 29-year-old machinist Donald Allen, for the return of her son's belongings. Donald is countersuing for car payments and insurance costs.
It's case number 48 on the calendar in the matter of Burton versus Allen. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks have seats.
Miss Burton, when were you and Mr. Allen married?
We got married in April of 2001.
And at the time you were married, you had a child, a boy. Is that right?
I already had him, yes.
From a previous marriage or relationship?
Relationship, yes, ma'am.
And how old was that child when you married Mr. Allen?
9 months.
And where is the father of that child?
He lives in the state of California. At the time, he lived in the state of Utah with me.
Does he support the child? Does he support the child?
Right now, no.
Last year, did he support the child?
Yes.
The year before?
Yes.
And the year before?
Yes.
And how much support was he sending for the child?
He paid $167 a month.
So not much.
Not much.
Not enough to support the child?
No, ma'am.
When you married Mr. Allen, were you working?
Yes, ma'am.
Continually employed?
Yes, ma'am.
And who was watching the baby?
The biological father was watching him.
And that remained throughout your marriage to Mr. Allen, that the biological father was watching the baby while you were working?
At the point when me and Mr. Allen got married, I had put him in daycare.
And you continued to be employed?
There were points that I did become unemployed.
Large stretches of time?
No, maybe the longest stretch were 6 months.
And during that 6-month period, Mr. Allen supported the household?
Yes.
Supported you and your son?
Yes.
Okay. When were you married, Mr. Allen?
April 25th, 1998.
To her?
Yeah.
Why did she say April 2001?
I don't know. My son was born in 97, so.
You mean the baby?
Yeah, the baby.
Is that right?
Yes.
So that you made a mistake. You were
Yes,
married
ma'am.
in 1998.
Yes, ma'am.
And when did you separate?
It was the end of August, September of 2002.
And when were you divorced?
October 4th, 2002.
Do you have any children together?
No.
So this is what this case is about. Miss Burton is suing you for the return and or value of property, the child's property, child's clothes, games, sporting equipment, etc., etc. That was at your house. Because even after the divorce, you were exercising visitation with him. You coached his ball league.
Up until problems happened. So.
Whatever it was. But you were involved with him, so you kept some things at your house. Did he sleep at your house occasionally during visitation?
He actually lived with us from March until July.
March of what year?
2003.
Why was that?
His mother was unable to find a place to live.
For that 4 months he lived with Mr.
That is
Allen?
incorrect, Your Honor.
How long did he live with Mr. Allen?
Until May.
So he lived with Mr. Allen for 2 months?
Yes, ma'am.
According to you. But since the separation, since you were living together, Mr. Allen has had regular contact with the boy. What's his name?
His name is Tyler.
And I would assume that Tyler is attached to Mr. Allen.
In a way.
Okay. And your lawsuit wants Mr. Allen to return all of these things. Mr. Allen says, I bought them, and they're staying in my house. I also gather from reading your complaint and his answer that you have decided it's no longer appropriate for Tyler to spend time with Mr. Allen.
It's become unhealthy.
It's become unhealthy because why?
The constant bickering between Mr. Allen and I had told him that it needed to stop. It was becoming unhealthy for everyone in the situation. I gave him a year that I continuously said, we cannot be bickering. We need to stop. Something needs to change.
Bickering about what?
Just little things, mainly my son. He was trying to run my household for me. And
who is this person?
This is my current husband, Brian.
When were you married?
We got married in November of 2003.
Tyler is 7 years old?
Yes, ma'am.
And what you're telling me, Miss Burton, is that you have decided to cut off the only constant male relationship in your son's life because you couldn't get along with Mr. Allen.
Not only that I couldn't get along with Mr. Allen, but my son is fearful of this man.
I'm not interested in whether you say your son is fearful. I don't believe it. I don't believe if your son is fearful of him, you let him stay there for 2 months while you were trying to find a new place to live. That's baloney. Don't believe it. Not for a second. Anyway, she stopped all contact. Is that right?
Yes, she did.
And you have this property that you purchased.
Yes. Can I explain something real quick?
Go ahead.
When we were divorced, we agreed to split his stuff for her home and our home. Everything she bought stayed at her house. Everything we bought stayed at our house. And after she got pregnant the first time, she claims that I was going to let her have the baby clothes or use the baby clothes that I got in the divorce that she said I could have.
What do you mean after she became pregnant the first time? What is that?
Well, the first time, because she had a miscarriage about a year ago.
That's with her present husband?
No.
With you?
No.
With who?
Boyfriend at the time, or...
Okay, go ahead.
And then she asked for the clothes when she became pregnant now. And I told her no. And I came to the point where I've done so much.
Mr. Allen, you don't have to explain it to me any further. Mrs. Burton, I don't know how to put this to you. You have one child, you're expecting another. You've got a new husband. Before this new husband, you had a boyfriend with whom you were intimate and got pregnant. I mean, so your life has been up and down, and before that, you had the father of your 7-year-old who you weren't married to. So the only constant that your son has known in 7 years has been this man. When you are a parent, you are not supposed to be a selfish baby.
Ma'am,
I'm speaking. Now, unfortunately, the law does not permit Mr. Allen, who is not related to this child by blood, to seek visitation with him in most jurisdictions. It doesn't mean that he can't sue for custody of this child, because anybody can sue for custody of a child if they believe that the biological parent has so abused or neglected that child as to make it dangerous, emotionally and or physically, for the child to live with that parent. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Which means in most jurisdictions he cannot file for visitation, but if you become a worse mother than I believe that you are, he can file for custody. It is the wrong thing to do to cut off for your son a relationship with this man, which is the only constant he has known for 7 years because of your moving around.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today, as ex-husband Donald Allen owes for the return of her son's belongings. Donald claims Laura owes for car payments.
Now, not only aren't you getting the stuff back, but I'm telling you that you better watch your back, because should you do anything that places this child in either physical or emotional damage, he's going to be there.
Ma'am.
And while you may not consent to visitation because you got your nose out of whack, because I believe what he says when he says, she said to me, I'm going to lay down the rules. If you want to see him, I'm going to tell you what the rules are. That sounds like something you would say. And what you're doing is not considering the best interests of your child. And when you don't do that, you're not being a good parent. You're not getting the property back. He bought it for his stepson to stay at his house. Unfortunately, when the marriage was terminated, so was the relationship, the legal relationship of stepchild, step-parent. That you know.
I know.
That you know. And there were other things, Mr. Allen, that you could have done.
I know.
During the marriage, you could have discussed adopting him. That was a possibility. I don't know whether his biological father would have consented to that or not. The law doesn't keep up with the dynamics of our new world. And our new world is that sometimes children become very attached to their step-parents, and it's very unfair for the biological parent to use that as a sword. It's clear to me that there was a time when Mrs. Burton was very, very happy to have you fill in for her son to live with you for either 2 months or 4 months while you were in between residences. That was convenient. It no longer is convenient. I'm sorry. You don't get anything back. That's all. Step out.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It's kind of upsetting. All my son wanted was his personal belongings that are there now.
So many things are put into this little boy's head, like his daddy's abandoned him.
He's the victim. I mean, I have to go home and disappoint him again.
We were best friends. There was no other way around it. Best friends with each other. We did everything together.
I'm thinking of the best interest of my child.
I love you no matter what. I love you.
And now the next case. 24-year-old copyright analyst Lydia Velasquez is suing her former friend, 22-year-old car salesman Shannon Sieber, for his share of a trip to Spain. Shannon claims Lydia offered to pay.
This is case number 101 on the calendar in the matter of Velasquez versus Sieber. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have seats, please.
Ms. Velasquez, Mr. Sieber was a friend of yours, and you claim that he owes you for some expenses from a trip to Spain that you took with him.
That's correct.
Or that he took with you. Mr. Sieber says there was never any agreement to pay you back any of the money you expended on his behalf. while acknowledging that you did spend money on him for plane tickets and some hotel expenses. Is that right, Mr. Sieber?
That's correct.
Okay. So let me turn to you first. I'd like you to tell me something about yourself.
Okay. I'm from Manassas, Virginia. I met Lydia in New York.
I didn't ask you where you met her. I asked you something about yourself.
Something about myself.
Yeah. First, why don't you tell me how old you are?
I'm 22 years old.
And what do you do for a living?
I sell cars.
And how long have you been selling cars?
For about 8 months now.
Is that what you want to be, a car salesman when you grow up?
No, but it pays well.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Own my own business.
What kind of business?
Maybe a daycare.
A daycare?
Yeah.
You like children?
Love children.
Why do you think that you have what it takes to guide young children into maturity? Stand up straight. First, the first thing you have to know is that you don't have to lean on anything.
Yes.
A table, a woman, anything. So what I want you to tell me, Mr. Sieber, is since your life's ambition is to own a daycare.
Yeah.
Yes, try yes.
Yes.
That's the first thing you have to do with children, teach them how to speak. And since that is probably one of the most laudable professions to guide children, I want you to explain to me what personality traits you believe you have that would qualify you to guide the future of America. Now, I want you to think about that, Mr. Fastmouth, before you answer my question. Because I want you to think of what it is. Because as you see from this little repartee that we're having between us, I can swallow you up alive. We understand each other?
Oh, we understand each other.
Very good. So I want you to think very carefully, Smarty Mouth, why you believe that you can, with your talents and what those talents and moral qualities that you have are, to guide the children who are the future of America.
Because I'm consistent and committed.
Committed to what?
Committed to be able to learn whatever I have to learn to be able to teach children.
Okay. Now let's talk about your moral qualifications. You sell cars?
Yes.
Did you ever exaggerate to somebody when you sold them a car?
No.
Never.
No.
So when you're negotiating with somebody, you're always right up front. When you say, listen, my manager won't let me take a penny less than for this car, and I'm going to give up most of my commissions so that you can have this car, because I want you to have this car.
Of course.
That's totally honest.
Oh, yeah.
Never said anything that wasn't true.
No, ma'am.
Okay. I want you to do this for me, Mr. Sieber. When you open up your daycare center,
Yes, ma'am.
let me know where it is.
Okay.
When did you take this trip with Miss Velasquez?
We took it March 31st.
And how long did you go for?
6 days.
Who went, Mr. Sieber?
Myself and Lydia.
Just the two of you?
Yes, ma'am.
And I assume, Miss Velasquez, from reading your papers, that you had a little bit of a crush on him.
I did.
Now, what makes you think, Mr. Sieber, that even though Miss Velasquez had a crush on you, she was going to pay for your tickets?
Well, when I got the call early in February, and she asked me to take the trip with her, I told her that I would take the trip, and she said that she would cover the flight expense if I would go with her. When we got over there, the first night that we were there, advances were made, and I told her I wasn't looking for anything further. And after that happened, we got back to Northern Virginia. I started getting calls. She wanted money. So, because the advances were denied, she decided she wanted payment.
Why did you go with her, Mr. Sieber?
Because I liked her as a friend.
Did you tell her that?
Yes.
Well, tell me what you said to her.
Exactly that.
Let me hear.
I like you as a friend.
When did you tell her that?
Many times in New York when I was with her, over the phone.
When she called and asked you to go to Europe with her, did she say why she wanted you to go to Europe with her?
No.
All right, now I'll hear you, Miss Velasquez.
Thank you.
When did you call him?
I didn't call him, actually. He had called me. We initially met, and we went on a really nice romantic first date. We kept in touch. My sister got sick. He was calling to ask me about her. And through the course of the conversation, towards the end of the conversation, I had told him about a trip that I was planning for myself. I thought planning a trip for myself and going to Spain was really what I wanted to do. Then Shannon had called me. He's very charming on the phone, and he expressed his interest in coming with me.
No, just not expressing it. What did he say, if you remember?
He said, would you mind if I came with you? And I said, yeah, no, that's great. I was excited about the fact that he wanted to go with me on a trip.
Now let's get to the tickets.
Sure. He had said if he can find a ticket for around $400 that he'd go ahead and, pay me for that. So the next day I did a vigorous search. I'm pretty good at the internet, and I found tickets. I had called him up and I told him how much the ticket was going to be. It was around $444. And he had said, you know, that's fine. And I said, well, I already put the hotel, so you can just pay me half for the hotels. We can split that and then just pay me back for the flight. And he said that he would pay me back the full amount. When we got to Spain, he paid me $300 in cash. And he...
Oh, Mr. Sieber, how come you gave her $300 in cash, sir?
Oh, that was for the hotel.
You gave her $300 and said...
And he said, on April 18th, I will send you the remaining balance. So I had thought that he was going to pay me once he got back home. We had a good time. I realized, though, when we got there, his attitude towards me changed. Before that, the phone conversations were great. He was saying, you know, oh, you're so cute, and I'm listening to your CD right now because I sing or whatnot, and you're making me smile and all this charming baloney. And I fell for it. I fell for it like I would, but when we got there, though, his attitude changed towards me. He all of a sudden was cold, distant, and it seemed like I was irritating to him.
The bloom was off the rose.
It was.
Okay, fine.
It fell down and someone squished it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Lydia Velasquez says former friend Shannon Sieber owes for a trip to Spain. Shannon claims Lydia is upset that he only wants to be friends.
All right. $444 was the plane ticket, is that right?
Correct.
And then there was some expenses for the hotel.
Correct, because we were there for 5 days and 4 nights.
And you are asking for $350, which is less than the cost of the ticket, so your $300, sir, paid portion of the plane ticket. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Look at that. You paid part of the plane ticket and you didn't even know it. That's great. Mr. Sieber, you look like a sweet young man. You're 22 years old, so I will attribute some of what you say to me today as being words from somebody who is not yet fully cooked. Just starting to shave and just starting to feel yourself. So I want you to understand something. You're supposed to have a reasonable moral compass. You're not supposed to toy with somebody else's affections. And I think that you're a smart aleck enough to know that by going to Spain with her, you were toying with her affections. You're not supposed to do that. It's unkind. And should you find yourself at the other end of this affection stick at some point in your life, I guarantee you won't like it. But I've been around long enough, Mr. Sieber, to know that what goes around comes around. And it may not come around today, it may not come around tomorrow. But if you're not nice to people, eventually it's going to come back and bite you in the behind. We understand each other?
Clearly.
Good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $350. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It's just sad when friends have to start suing each other.
I'm just happy that I'm going to actually get my money back.
There was never a relationship to begin with. It was all made up in our mind.
I might have been misled by him.
It was made very clear before we left it. It was what it was. There was going to be nothing more.
Not the person that I thought he was.
She's a nice lady.
He's just being rude.
We were only friends, and that's all it would ever be.
We're not friends anymore.
And now the next case. Suing his ex-fiancée, daycare owner Karen Watkins, for the return of bedroom furniture, a refrigerator, and the engagement ring. Karen says Jean's lawsuit is ridiculous.
Yes, this is case number 208 on the calendar in the matter of Lorsch versus Watkins. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated, sir. Have a seat, please.
Mr. Lorsch, you and the defendant were together for about 7 years, according to what I read in your complaint, and engaged for 3 or 4 of those years. You broke up, and you want returned to you some furniture, and you also want the engagement ring back. Ms. Watkins says the furniture's been in her house for years, never asked for it back. As a matter of fact, you don't even want the furniture back. You want the value of the furniture because you've already replaced it. And as far as the engagement ring is concerned, she said she hasn't seen it for years. So either you took it back or it was lost. And you lived together for 2 years after it was lost. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. When did the two of you live together? During which period of time?
I'd say from 99 to 2003.
And when you left, did you take anything with you?
No, Your Honor, I did not.
Your Honor, that's not true.
What did he take with him?
He took his couch. He took the bedroom set that was
Just
in my bedroom.
Did you take the couch? When you moved out, sir, did you take the sofa?
Your Honor, yes, I did.
I mean, I do speak the language, and I assume you do too, so I don't know why you're confused. Did you take a bed?
Just the bed and headboard itself, yes.
Okay. What else did he take, Miss Watkins?
Well, those are the main furniture things that we
Okay,
had there.
those are the furniture things. Now we're a year later, more than a year later, and you want a refrigerator, not the refrigerator, the cost of the refrigerator, and you want some bedroom furniture that you purchased because each of you had a daughter.
Correct.
And you bought some bedroom furniture so that the two girls could be in the same bedroom.
That's right, Your Honor. It made it more
Okay.
comfortable for my daughter to be in her place. Like I said, she provided daycare for me for the whole time that we were together, and I was paying her daycare fees.
So
We're
Your Honor,
getting,
that's
we're
not
getting,
true either.
Mr. Lorsch, listen to me. We're getting beyond ourselves, sir. I like to keep things very simple. When you moved out in June of 2003, did you ask her for the refrigerator?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
That's not true.
Shh, just a second. Don't say anything that's not true because I will make you look very foolish.
This was something.
Just a second. Don't say anything that's not true or I will make you look very foolish. And you don't want that. So, I'm going to start all over again. Did you ask her for the refrigerator in June of 2003?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Okay. And did you ask her for the children's furniture in June of 2003?
At that point in time, no, Your Honor, I did not.
But you did ask her for the refrigerator.
Yes, I did.
And what did she say?
She thought that I owed it to her.
And what did you say?
I said, I think, your new boyfriend can get you a new refrigerator.
Okay. And what did she say?
She said, I think that rightfully belongs to me now.
Okay. And that's the way it was left.
Yes.
You did not sue her for that, right?
At that point in time, no, I did not.
Over a year ago. Nor did you sue her for the children's furniture, correct?
I did ask her for the stuff on occasion.
Listen to my words very carefully. You did not sue her for those items in June of 2003.
It was a continuing discussion over the year.
When was it a continuing discussion, Mr. Lorsch? Was it a continuing discussion each time you would take your daughter there for her to provide daycare?
More like on a monthly basis.
And you had this conversation with her on a monthly basis while she was taking care of your child. Is that what you're telling me?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, when your daughter was not with Miss Watkins, was she back in your home with you or your former wife?
My former wife, yes.
Did she ever come to stay in your home
Yes.
for a day or 2 days or 3 days?
3 or 4 days usually.
Yeah.
Oh, shh. And when she came to your home, did you feed her?
In the evenings, yes.
And when you fed her, did you use a refrigerator?
Yes, I did.
Where'd you get it from?
I had to purchase a new one to replace the old.
When did you purchase the new one?
I have that in here.
Well, why don't you tell me about it?
May 7th of this year.
So is what you're telling me, Mr. Lorsch, between June of 2003 and May of 2004, you lived without a refrigerator?
No, I had a portable unit.
So you had a refrigerator.
A small one, yes.
Good for you. Now, when did you purchase new bedroom furniture for your daughter to sleep in?
Actually, I do not have it yet.
You don't. So where was your daughter sleeping? She wasn't sleeping with you.
She is either sleeping on the couch or she'll sleep in a sleeping bag in her room.
In a sleeping bag in her room.
This is on call. They're
Just a
supposed to
sec,
call me
Mr.
when
Lorsch.
it's delivered.
Is what you're telling me the way that you provided for your daughter when she was with you is to have her sleep on the floor? Is that what you're telling me?
No, Your Honor. At the time, I had a day bed.
There we go. That's better. In what year did you purchase the bedroom furniture that was in Miss Watkins' home?
That was November 30th of 2002, like 6 months before she decided she didn't want to be with me anymore. It's awfully convenient.
No, there were a lot of nights, sir, between November of 2002 and June of 2003.
Yeah.
It's only 6 months, Your Honor.
That's a lot of nights. Now, where's the engagement ring?
It's gone. I took it off because I wasn't ready to be married. I took it off. The next day where I put it, I went to get it. It was gone.
When was this?
I think he took it.
When?
Oh, gosh. Approximately two years ago, maybe possibly 3.
Did you discuss the fact with Mr. Lorsch that you didn't have the ring?
Yeah, I went to get it, and I said, I took the ring off, and it was gone. I still think he took it because he's so controlling. He probably took it until the time that he until, because we were still dating, and so he probably...
Listen, when you live together and you share a room and you share a life and you have children over, that's not dating. Dating is what you do when somebody comes to your house, picks you up on a Friday night, takes you to dinner and to a movie, and then brings you home. That's dating.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Porsche says ex-fiancée Karen Watkins owes for the return of a bedroom set, a refrigerator, and an engagement ring.
And Mr. Lorsch, while you were living together, do you recall a time that she no longer had the engagement ring?
When she said that she, didn't want to date
No, look
anymore.
at me, look at me. Don't look down at your papers. My question to you is...
I asked her at that time.
Just a second. Mr. Lorsch, do you see how foolish I made you look 5 minutes ago? If you don't see it, everybody else has seen it. Now I'm going to ask you again. I'm going to give you another chance, sir. Did there come a time while you were living together with Miss Watkins that she was no longer wearing the engagement ring?
At the point she called it off, yes.
Good.
I asked her about it then, and she said she stopped wearing it 2 months prior, which was just last year.
So there
Not
was
2
a
years
time,
ago.
listen to me. So there was a time while you were living together that she was not wearing the engagement ring. Is that right?
According to her, yes.
No, according to you. I said there was a time while you were living together that she was not wearing the engagement ring.
That seems apparent, yes.
It was apparent. Now, when you saw that she was not wearing the engagement ring, did you continue to share a room with her?
No, Your Honor.
I want to listen. You're trying to think of how to answer these questions so that this decision will go in your favor. And I'm telling you only one thing, sir. I am a master at ferreting out the truth. So as smart as you think you are, you're not smarter than I am. We understand each other, Mr. Lorsch?
Yes, Your
My
Honor.
question to you is a simple one, sir. Now that you have acknowledged that while you were living together, she stopped wearing the ring for whatever reason, what kind of discussion did you have with her about the ring?
If she was calling the engagement, I asked her if I could have it back. She says, I have misplaced it, and when I find it, I will return it to you.
After she said she misplaced it, did you ever see it again?
No, Your Honor, I did not.
Now, after you broke up in June of 2003, it had been, let us say, months that she hadn't worn the ring. Did you say to her, did you find the ring?
Yes.
And what did she say to you?
I haven't had a chance to look for it yet.
That's not entirely true. He never asked for the ring. Is what he would do is threaten me and point at me and say, if you don't find the ring, I'm going to take you to court and I'm going to ruin you in court. And that's what he used to always do to me, is point at me and corner me and threaten me,
So he asked you for the ring. He demanded the ring back. Now, we're not talking about the Hope Diamond here. We're talking about a ring that, according to you, Mr. Lorsch, you spent $700 on. Is that right?
That's correct.
Get over it. Mr. Lorsch, if you lie about one thing, I doubt the veracity of everything that you say. Do we
Your Honor,
understand each other?
she lies in
Do we
court,
understand?
too.
Do we understand each other? It's not her burden, sir. It's your burden. So when you come to court, it's your burden of proof to go forward and convince me that you have just cause. And what you've said in your complaint is, I don't want the refrigerator back. And I don't want the bedroom furniture back. I wanted to pay me the replacement value of it because I went out and I bought a new refrigerator a year later. And I went out and bought new furniture that I haven't gotten yet. Get a
Your Honor.
Mr. Lorsch, you're out of here. Goodbye. Case is dismissed.
Parties are excused and they step out.
come by the daycare and tell me he wanted, and he'd corner me. He held me captive in his house.
We've been friends ever since we broke up.
As long as I'm around, he'll always be last place.
I believe that finally I can get him out of my life and he can move on, I can move on, and it'll be good.
I have a feeling it'll still continue.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Perry versus Bartle, step forward.
Homemaker Lynn Perry is suing Travis and Michelle Bartle for the cost of vet bills. Lynn says Michelle's 12-year-old son, Matthew Fry, beat on her cat with a stick.
Miss Perry, Mr. and Mrs. Bartle's son injured your cat with a stick. And you want them to pay the vet bills. And Mr. and Mrs. Bartle seem to say it was the cat's fault because the cat was out running loose, and the cat should not have been running loose. That's your defense, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
You, over here.
Seat up here, okay?
So, you watch me. Don't take your eyes off me for a second. Your son told you the following story, which I gather from your answer, that he was riding down the street at his grandmother's house, and a dog was chasing him in the middle of the street.
Yes, ma'am.
And he had a stick, and he accidentally hit the cat.
That's what he told me.
And that's what you believe.
He told me that the bike hit the cat, and then the stick hit the cat too, yeah.
Oh! Now, your cat was seriously injured.
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of a cat is it?
She's actually a mutt. She's pure white, one blue eye, one gray eye, 16 years old.
Managed to get through 16 years before she met this young man.
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of injuries did she have?
She's lost some sight in her left eye, and she was bleeding from her nose and her mouth when the incident happened.
You're 12 years old?
Yes.
Did you do okay in school?
Yeah.
When did you go to your grandmother's house that day, Matthew?
We went over there that morning.
Who went over there?
Me and my two sisters.
Now, there came a point at some time that you were outside on your bike.
Yeah.
Who were you riding with, yourself or with your sisters?
I was by myself. It was after I took my sisters to their friends.
And about how far was that? A block, 2 blocks?
About a block.
Did you have any trouble taking your sisters over to their friend's house?
No.
Did you have any trouble coming back? Look at me.
The dog.
Look at me.
I was getting chased by the dog.
Oh, that's what you just don't. Was it a big dog?
It was a bulldog. It was about up to my knees.
And where did that big bulldog start to chase you, Matthew?
Right as a stop sign after I was coming down the hill. I was going to turn down and go down the hill, and it started chasing me.
And you didn't get off your bike from the time the bulldog started to chase you until the time you hit the cat. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
So you tell me when you got this stick. Is not an answer. Look right here.
I left with the stick from my grandma's.
You did?
Yes.
Why would you leave carrying a stick?
The dog was chasing me.
No. The dog didn't start chasing you until you got to a stop sign, Matthew.
Yeah, from my sister's friend's house.
That's not what you told me. You told me that the dog started to chase you when you were making a turn at a stop sign.
Yes, ma'am. Or right as I take the right turn, he started chasing me.
Right, and you didn't get off the bike. So if the dog was chasing you, and I asked you, when did you get this big stick?
Before I left the house.
Why would you start carrying a stick on your bicycle?
Because he's bit me before, and I didn't want to get bit again. And
Matthew, I don't believe you.
My mom was...
Matthew, I don't believe you. You may have told that story to your mother and father about the big dog chasing you and the stick, but I don't believe it. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you want to tell me how you hit this cat with the stick?
Yes, ma'am.
And I want to hear the truth from you.
Yes, ma'am.
You say yes, ma'am. You make sure you believe yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
I was riding down the hill with the stick in my hand because that's when the dog was chasing me.
Yeah, how big a stick was it?
It was a broomstick.
A broomstick?
Broke in half.
Go ahead.
I was riding down through there, and I was looking back. That's the time that the dog was chasing me. And I kept on looking back, and he wasn't there. And I turned around. I didn't know what it was until I hit it, and I saw that it was a cat. I really didn't mean to, but...
I still don't know how it got hit in the face with the stick.
I was riding down through there, and it was in the middle of the road, and I looked back, and I looked forward, and I hit it.
With a stick?
Yes, ma'am.
Baloney. Go sit down. It's not true. It's not the way it happened.
Well, he told me that he hit the cat with the bike and then the stick, and the bike has freestyle pegs on the front.
He was lying to you. I raised 5 children. None of them ride their bicycle that they're supposed to hold on to with 2 hands, carrying a broomstick in one hand unless they're looking for trouble. You got me?
Yes, ma'am.
You understand? You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
They may have believed you momentarily. Maybe they still do. I don't believe you, Matthew. You're not supposed to hurt a living thing. Ever. And if a dog was chasing you, you don't take your bike out. You stay at your grandmother's house. And if it was chasing you when you took your sister to their friend's house, stay at the friend's house and call your grandmother. And call your mother and say, I'm afraid to go home because this big bulldog is chasing me. You understand? That's why I don't believe you. All they're asking for is their vet bills. You're lucky. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $605.01. That's all. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Mario McCullough is suing his mother, homemaker Belinda McCullough, for attorney fees, the value of his belongings, and mental distress. Mario says when his father died, his mother pillaged the estate.
Yes, case number 253 on the calendar in the matter of McCullough versus McCullough. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Mr. McCullough, you are one of 6 children, is that right?
That's correct.
And this is your mother.
Yes,
According to what I read in your complaint, your parents were divorced.
that's correct.
And subsequent to the divorce, your father passed away.
Yes,
At the time that your father passed away, he was residing in what had been the marital home.
yes,
As soon as he passed away, your mother moved back into the marital home. Half of the marital home belongs to your mother. Half of the marital home, according to her, belongs to the 6 children.
yes,
It is your claim that your mother has some property that belongs to you, has some property that belongs to you and your siblings that was property of your father's that she either kept or disposed of, so you're suing for that. And also for the cost of legal fees, because you say that she filed a restraining order against you, things got so heated, and you want those legal fees paid.
that's
right?
correct.
Okay. When were your parents divorced?
Several years prior to...
Let's not go there. If you don't know the answer, say I don't know when
I
they
don't
were
know
divorced.
the
When were you
exact
divorced?
2001,
How many years had you been married?
27.
And you had 6 children.
Yes.
Do you have a copy of the judgment of divorce?
Well, I have a deed that says if that will help, a deed that says that I'm owner of half the house.
Let me see the deed. Was that pursuant to the divorce
Yeah,
judgment?
that half the house, half the property was his and half of it was mine.
Why did your husband remain in the marital home?
Because he was sick and I told him he could stay there.
Was there a will?
No.
Did you speak to an attorney after your father died?
I contacted an attorney who suggested that the house be put in probate. So the house was put in probate. My mother disagreed to the probate from day one.
Why would you want to put the house in probate, to have it sold?
Because we didn't know what was happening with his belongings.
What belongings, sir?
All of his belongings.
Like what?
Pictures on the walls, couches, entertainment centers, computers.
You mean furniture?
Furniture, not only furniture, but I was concerned about my belongings also.
Let's not talk about your belongings
Okay.
yet. Let's talk about the furniture in the house.
Okay.
Had your father refurnished when your parents separated?
Yes, he did.
Is that right?
He bought a couch, 2 couches for $35, both at a thrift store that he furnished. And then that's the only thing he put in the house. And then the entertainment center, which was a gift from his niece.
So we're not talking about $100,000 worth of furniture.
No, ma'am.
What personal belongings of yours did you
I had
think were in the house?
a weight set, a mountain bike, boxing trophies. We had lockers in the house, Your Honor. My dad had lockers built for each individual kid. And that's where we kept a lot of our personal stuff.
Did you ask your mother for your things?
Yes, I did ask my mother for my things.
And what did she tell you?
I couldn't get none of my stuff.
What? Let me hear.
That's not true. I have some letters here from the probate lawyer asking him and asking all of them to remove their stuff.
Can I see it, please?
And there's 5 letters here.
You received a letter that was dated April 8th, 2004, correct?
Yes.
And the letter is from an attorney that says, please come and get your stuff. And if you don't come and get your stuff, they're going to dump your stuff. And since you and your other brother are prohibited from going to her house because there was a restraining order against you, you were supposed to make arrangements through Mark. Who's Mark?
Another brother of mine.
Or someone else to have their belongings identified and removed. Did you do that?
I tried to contact him to find out a day and time to do that. He said he'd call me back. The guy never called me back.
Why didn't you have the attorney that you spoke to, Mr. McCullough, contact the probate attorney for your father's estate and say, listen, my client has been trying to get his stuff. He can't make an arrangement. Or is there another agenda here that I am not figuring out? And I somehow believe that there's something cooking here other than your baseball jacket and a couple of trophies that are in a locker. You want to tell me what it is?
What it is, Your Honor, is I thought that I would be able to get my stuff.
I'm not talking about your stuff. I'm saying this has to do with something other than your stuff that was in a locker, a baseball jacket and a couple of trophies. It had to do with something more than that, probably something that had to do with money, because you wanted your mother to sell the house, right?
No, I didn't want my mother to sell
Well, then
the
why go to probate if you didn't want your mother to sell the house?
What it had to do with was not only my stuff, but my father's stuff had gotten removed from the house. The day she moved in, she brought her stuff in. There wasn't room for both of their stuff in the house. So she started disposing of his property. And not only his property.
How did she dispose of your father's property?
Dump.
Is your mother crazy? No.
No.
You think she would dispose of stuff in a dump that was worthwhile, that she could have sold for some money? Of course she would have. So she took the stuff that was junk and she got rid of it. So what are you complaining about?
It was junk to her. We never got offered none of this stuff. She never said...
Okay, you mean she took it upon herself. Your mother took it upon herself to decide what was junk and what was good stuff, and you felt that she should have consulted her children. She should have consulted her children about that before she got rid of it.
Yes.
And that's what it's all about.
Yes.
Get over it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. McCullough says after his father died, his mother, Belinda McCullough, threw out property belonging to him, his siblings, and his deceased father.
You have a life? Do you have children?
Yes, I do.
You have a wife?
I'm engaged.
You're engaged, but you have children?
Yes.
Are you engaged to the mother of your children?
No, I have custody of my children.
Okay. How old are your children?
My daughter's 7, going to be 8.
Yeah.
And my son's 5.
Okay. And you make judgments with regard to things?
Yes.
Is that right? Without consulting them, right?
Yes.
Because you are their what?
Parent.
And how old is your mother? Do you know?
No, I don't.
You don't know how old your mother is? How old are you?
53.
Your mother's 53. She raised 6 children, right?
Yes.
And when she and your father separated, was your father ill?
Yes, he was.
What was the nature of his illness?
He had esophagus problems.
What was the nature of his illness?
He had illness due to his esophagus, but it was due to alcohol and drugs.
And you moved out of the house after how many years with him?
27.
Did your father have a problem with drugs and alcohol?
Yes, he did.
So you think it was easy for your mother to raise 6 children with a man who had problems with drugs and alcohol?
No.
So you think that she was forced to make judgments every day with regard to not only what was best for her children, but what was best for her husband, who had problems, and her? You think she was called on to do that?
Yes.
And you think she held a meeting every time she had to make one of those decisions?
No.
You think she made more weighty decisions about whether something was an old couch that was a piece of junk or a good couch that she could sell for $25? You think she made really important decisions over 25 years? So why would you think, Mr. McCullough, that after she moves back into the house, which she left because she said he was sick, she was nice enough not to tell me why he was sick. He was sick and I felt as if he should stay at the house. That after he died, she moves back into the house and the house is full of junk, somebody who's got a drug problem, an alcohol problem. So she moves her good stuff back into the house, her stuff that she wants to live with, and gets rid of his old junk. You think she should have to stop and say, I have to ask all of my 6 children, get together and have a meeting to figure out what we should do with this $35 couch? Mr. McCullough, your mother probably had a very difficult time for 25 years with your father, right?
Yes.
Despite that, it appears to me as if you are a nice young man. You got your priorities out of kilter, Mr. McCullough. Was your father a rich man?
No, he wasn't.
Is your mother a rich woman?
No, she wasn't.
Ms. McCullough, is there anything in any of those cubbies or lockers that you still have in the house?
Your Honor, I got pictures. This is the locker. This is some of the stuff that I took out of the house. It's on the porch.
Can I see it, please? Do you have any of his memorabilia, your son's memorabilia, his... who are you?
Your Honor, I'm his sister and her daughter. There is stuff still in the basement that hasn't been removed. The weight set is still in the basement, and if there's any memorabilia, it could either be in the shed or in the basement. There is boxes full of stuff.
Tell me your name.
Julia Ferfaro.
Julia, will you do me a favor?
Yes.
He wants his weight set back.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
And I want you to take a look and see if there are any trophies there.
Okay.
What kind of trophies are they?
Your Honor, I have a picture of my trophies in a garbage can on the front porch.
Well, if they're on the garbage can on the front porch, why didn't you take them, sir? Who took the picture?
My brother took the picture.
Well, if your brother took the picture, why didn't he take the trophies out of the garbage can?
Because he didn't want, because there was a restraining order put in place saying that nothing should be removed from the home.
Oh, stop. If your brother was close enough to the house to see in the garbage can that your trophies were in the garbage can, he should have taken them out of the garbage can. Make arrangements for him to get his weight set. Mr. McCullough,
Yes.
Grow up, sir. Did you consent to an order of protection? Your mother filed for a restraining order. She said you were harassing her and a person that lives in the house with her. She has a boyfriend living in the house now?
Yes.
No, he doesn't live there.
Or he was there. So there was a protective order. Did you consent to a protective order being issued against you?
I consented to a second restraining order.
Fine. Then you can't sue on it, sir. Put your hand down. Grow up. Your mother has not had a very easy life. Why don't we try making it easier for her, not more difficult, sir? You're getting your weight set back, and if you can't make up with your mother after all the times and years that she took care of you, that is your problem. Do not visit that on me. Your weight set's going to be returned to you within 3 days. That's all. Step out.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
With Judge Judy talking to him, I pray that what she said, really goes deep into his heart.
She benefited from my father's death when she was his ex-wife.
I just think he's angry because my mother had divorced my father and she was moving on with her life.
I've got 3 other brothers that are on my side.
I just think it's unfortunate that it tears a family apart.
Notary public Marlene Ruddock is suing her ex-boyfriend, bail bondsman Tim Dean, for forging documents and stealing her possessions. Tim is countersuing for harassment.
Now, this is case number 139 on the calendar in the matter of Ruddock versus Dean. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Mrs. Ruddock, it is your claim that the defendant has your property from your home, television, furniture, etc. The defendant says that you sold him this property and he has a notarized bill of sale to prove it. How do you know him?
Years ago, when I was in property management, I leased him and his best friend an apartment. And through the years, I had gotten married. Recently, we had gone back in contact.
How did you do that?
I had made a phone call to him. Me and my husband were having issues at the time. And
were you and your husband still living together?
No, we were separated.
So you contacted him for what purpose?
We were together at one time.
You were a couple?
Yes.
My question is, you contacted him why?
Out of caring feelings, that kind of thing.
Okay. When did you contact him?
I believe it was in September.
And you and your husband were not living together at the time?
No.
Okay. So how did he come into possession of your furniture?
Back in November, around Thanksgiving time, he works with a bail bond company, and him and his friends had gone into one of their clients' homes and were staking it out. And they were waiting for the client to come back into the home and get money back from him so he could be released. And my notary stamp was involved in this, and he clearly told me that he had taken it, used my name, signed my name on this power of attorney to remove the belongings from this home.
Just a second. What does that have to do with your furniture?
What that has to do with it is the state of Nevada had pressed charges on him and had gotten contact with me in December.
Just a second. So far, all you've told me is that in September of 2003, you were separated from your husband and you put in a call to Mr. Dean because you and he were a couple at one time.
Correct.
That's all I heard. Then I heard some bubba-meises about him being in somebody else's house with Richard Dreyfuss on a stakeout. Do you understand?
Correct.
We're not at your house yet.
Okay.
With your furniture.
Basically, what happened in December is I'd been contacted by the state of Nevada.
No, you're back there again, Mrs. Ruddock.
I had to leave for my safety.
Mrs. Ruddock, I don't know how he came to live in your house, madam.
Because he had established residence there.
Well, we didn't get to that. So let's go back to September when you placed a phone call to him. You said hello. He said hello.
We became a couple again.
I don't know what that means, we became a couple.
He moved into my home.
When did he move into your home?
Probably the first part of October, along with his daughter. Then in December, I was contacted by the state of Nevada that my car had been involved in a criminal activity.
Your what?
My Cadillac, my car, my vehicle that Mr. Dean had been driving. And at that time, me and him had decided to go our separate ways, and he had contacted me when I was at work on my cell phone telling me to bring his belongings back to him. Or I could say sorry, and this would all go away.
Just a second. Miss Ruddock, you are all over the place, and I'm having a really difficult time following you, madam. Was he living in your home, or was he not living in your home?
Yes, he was living in my home.
So in December, he was living in your home?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And at that time, on that same day...
What day?
It was December 8th or the 7th of 2003.
Okay.
And he had called telling me if I didn't bring his car back to him, then everything could be okay with us if I said sorry. I feared for my safety at that time because I'd been in contact with the state of Nevada. I got my children and went to California because I had told them what I knew, what he'd done with my notary stamp in forging my name on this power of attorney where it goes back in November. And I left with my children at that time for fear of my safety. When I came back on December 14th, I had called the police, and they went up with me. They looked at the 5-day on the notice, and the cop handed it to me. He says, "Are you aware that you've been served this 5-day?"
I have no idea what you're talking about.
This 5-day right here.
What do you mean you have been served with a 5-day?
That's what
a 5-day what?
A 5-day notice to leave my home.
Who was on the lease in your home?
My husband, myself, and my children. This is the lease right here. So I held the original lease.
Well, your children can't sign a lease.
No, but they just put 2 adults, 2 children.
Okay. December 7th or 8th you left. Is that what you say? And
It
you
was
came
on a
back on
Monday.
December 14th. And between December 7th or 8th and December 14th is when you say he came into possession of your furniture and your belongings?
Correct.
Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. All right, Mr. Dean. You do not deny that you have Mrs. Ruddock's furniture and television, et cetera, but it is your claim that she sold you all this property. Is that
Yes,
right?
Your Honor.
All right. So let me hear how she sold you the property, sir.
Well, let's put a little clarity on this. As Ms. Ruddock was saying, I knew her years ago. She was dating my bounty hunting partner at the time. And once they broke it off, we dated for a couple weeks till I found out that she was still seeing her husband.
Okay. Listen to me. I don't want to go back that far,
Okay.
Mr. Dean. You have her furniture. Prove to me, sir, that she sold it to you because she owed you money.
That's what I think, but what it is, it was another little thing she was doing as far as so her husband wouldn't get half the belongings.
You swore in your answer, sir, that she sold you her furniture because she owed you money. That's
She did.
what you said. So I want you to try sticking to one story. Explain to me how she owed you money, for what, and when she sold you the furniture.
She told me that she was selling me the furniture for the money that she owed me, but I knew because...
Just a minute. Tell me what money she owed, Mr. Dean.
I'd paid off her warrants.
Paid off her warrants. Warrants for what?
For bad checks, Your Honor.
Okay. And you paid them off how, sir?
By giving her the money which she never used to pay the warrants.
Show me.
Show you?
Show me check, money order, withdrawal from a bank.
I gave her cash, Your Honor.
Show me check, money order, or withdrawal from the bank.
I don't have that, Your Honor. Just my daughter is a witness attesting to that.
I'm not going to ask her a question. I mean, what do you think you were coming to court for, sir? T-dance?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Ex-boyfriend Tim Dean forged documents in order to steal her belongings. Tim says Marlene was trying to hide property from her ex-husband.
First of all, let me see the bill of sale, and then you're going to explain to me exactly how she was compensated for her furniture. Show me the bill of sale and then explain to me how she was
The officers gave
compensated.
it to her. She has a copy of it, Your Honor.
You have the bill of sale?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. And this is also...
Don't speak. Just show it to me. I have a feeling you two of you deserve each other.
This is forged, Your Honor. That's what my...
I didn't ask you a thing. I asked you for the bill of sale. Do you understand?
Yes.
I mean, I think that you're a con artist as well. I know he is. I don't think you're much better. We'll show this to him. Let's see if this is. Is that the bill of sale, sir, that you showed the police?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Dean. So I am correct, sir. When she came back on December the 14th, she said, give me my furniture back. You said, I have a bill of sale, right? She sold me the furniture.
Correct.
Right? She sold you the furniture for a big screen Mitsubishi television set for $1, all household furnishings for $1, all tools for $1, all appliances for $1, all wall hangers for $1, all bedding for $1, and the 1993 Cadillac Eldorado for $2.50.
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, are you still living in the apartment, sir?
It's a house, Your Honor.
Are you
yes.
still living in the house?
Correct.
Good. With all of this stuff? With all of this stuff?
No. The only thing.
Yeah, listen to me,
The
sir.
only thing of value was the big screen TV. In fact, everything.
Now listen to me, sir. Now I want you to listen to me very, very carefully.
Okay.
Did I tell you about 5 minutes ago that I'm smarter than you are? I don't think you believe me. This is not a bill of sale that reflects the value of this property.
Exactly.
And if what you're telling me is that you knew that what Miss Ruddock was trying to do was to fraudulently convey marital property to you, is that what you're telling me?
That's what I'm telling you.
Then what I'm telling you is this isn't worth anything. Do you understand? If you are aware that she is trying to commit a fraud and you are complicit in that, then this goes in the garbage. Do you understand, Mr. Dean?
She owed me the money, Your Honor.
No, now we're getting back to, she owed me the money. And what I'm telling you is, show me. I want you to show me. And if you can't, say, I can't.
I can't, Your Honor.
Good. Then I find that is a fraudulent conveyance, and within 5 days, she will be there with a moving van to pick up all the items on that piece of garbage, including all of the household furniture, the television, etc.
Everything of those items is mine, Your Honor. As far as the money.
Listen to me, sir. Show me. Show me
those items are mine.
That is too bad. And I'm telling you, she is coming to pick up your property.
No, she's
the
not,
property,
Your
sir. Yes, 5 days from today. Absolutely, Mr. Dean. That is what's going to happen, sir. Now let's get to your counterclaim. I don't want to hear anything else. Counterclaim, Mr. Dean.
Your Honor, I know exactly what's going on here, and I don't appreciate it.
That's too bad, sir. If you're not going to get your counterclaim is dismissed with prejudice. Step out. 5 days from today, the court will enter an order. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I've got a temporary restraining order from this woman.
As I've said before, he's a shyster.
She slashed my tires.
Me slashing tires is not my style, that's his.
She tried to tow my vehicles.
He knows that everything he said was a lie.
She's psycho.
I'm glad Judge Judy ruled in my favor.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Eden versus Neely. Step forward, please.
18-year-old student Desiree Eden is suing her father's girlfriend, EMT tech Susan Neely, for the return of payments on a Dodge Neon she repossessed. Susan is countersuing for the vehicle's unpaid balance and insurance payments.
Who are you?
I'm the dad.
Why don't you stand up, sir? Miss Eden, while this gentleman, who's your father, is not a defendant, I'm going to have him stand here because I think it's important. Miss Neely is your father's girlfriend. They live together, is that right?
Yes.
According to what I read, a couple of years ago, you needed a car. You were living with your father and his girlfriend. And Miss Neely agreed to buy a car. You were underage, so it was in her name. And tell me what the agreement was.
The agreement was that I paid the car payments on the car as it came. I paid the $1,000 down plus the car payments on it.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
From when to when?
From November 2003 to November 26th of 2004.
And you made the payments every month?
Yes.
Who paid the insurance?
I paid it when she asked for it.
The agreement was that you would make the monthly payments.
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Neely, is it correct that Ms. Eden made the monthly payments on the car from November of 2003 to November of 2004?
Her last payment was on November the 12th.
So the answer would be yes?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what happened in November of 2004?
Okay, the day after Thanksgiving, she decided that she was going to move out and move in with her boyfriend. And I told her she could not take the car because that car was in my name. It was titled in my name. And I would not let her have it because if something should happen and they go out and have a wreck and kill somebody, it comes back on me. So I told her she had to leave the car with me, and if she came with the balance owed against the car, then I would sign it over to her.
That's not true, Your Honor.
Just a second.
She did not come up with the $2,201.93 that was owed against the car, so I would not allow her to have it.
Well, wasn't your agreement, Ms. Neely. That wasn't your agreement.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Eden says her father's girlfriend, Susan Neely, illegally repossessed her car. Susan says she took the car away when Desiree moved in with her boyfriend.
When did you turn 18?
May 23rd.
Of 2004?
Of 2004.
Once she turned 18 and continued to make the payments, and you continued to accept the payments, that contract that you had with her, that verbal contract, was ratified, which meant it became a contract. The contract's terms were very simple. You make the payments until the car is paid off, I'll sign the title over to you. That was your contract.
But she's no longer making payments. She
stopped making payments because you wouldn't let her take the car.
Correct.
What we're talking about is an anticipatory breach, which is you said to yourself, I'm not so sure whether she's going to continue to make the payments on the car if she's not here and living with the boyfriend, so I'm not going to let her have the car. That's what you really said.
Well, our insurance company told us that.
Hey, don't tell me what your insurance company told you. The insurance company cannot interpret a contract that you had with her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, when it was told to her when we decided to get the car for her, it was also told that she would stay in school, and it depended on her grades. That way we could also use the car. If she starts slipping a little bit, we could take the car away from her.
She hadn't slipped? Sir, she just decided to move out and move in with her boyfriend.
Exactly. But after that is when she lost her job. She quit school.
I didn't.
Well, just a second. Mr. Eden, at the time she left, she was making the payments.
Yes.
She was in school.
Yep.
And she had a job.
Yes.
You can't anticipate what's going to happen afterwards. Where's the car now?
It is at my house.
They have it for sale for $2,500.
Car is hers.
Okay, who pays the rest of the...
She does.
Okay. Does she pay that to us or to the car dealership or...
Are you working?
No, ma'am.
Well, how are you going to make the payments on the car?
Well, I just moved back into my mom's here recently. I have to get another job.
Where's the boyfriend?
Right here.
How come you moved out of his house?
We both moved into my mom's house. We were having too much problems in Monette where we were living with him. He had assaulted me shortly after I moved out.
Who did?
My father. I had to get a restraining order against him.